How many people did he murder?
Anyway, we've got some tip 10. So I don't know who knows what tipster is or who tipster is. He is a fallen star of YouTube. So this video, for example, 21 hours ago, a little bit over 1,000 views. He has 104k subscribers. He used to be a commentary guy, but I think he ended up annoying all them. He tried to get in with a bunch of other groups that didn't like him either. So now he does left content. He does left tube stuff, bread tube, there we go. And he loves trans people. So he's talking about J.K. Rowling deleting tweets following harassment lawsuit by Olympic boxer Iman Khalif. Now up front, I think J.K. Rowling went way beyond too far, and people were jumping into this person being a man with both feet and saying all kinds of crazy shit, and I don't agree with them doing it, but I don't know, I want to hear what Tippy's up to. I just want to see. This might be really boring.
So chat, if you followed the Olympics at all this year, you've probably heard about the
Ooh, tipster with no hat, Jesus. That's a look.
Iman Khalif. I'm probably butchering their name, so I sincerely apologize if I am. Anybody who watches my content knows I'm bad at pronouncing names, but if I got that wrong, I apologize. But anyway, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with them. They were an Olympic boxer who ended up winning. I believe they won the gold in female boxing. We're not going to go into like the specifics of this article here, but basically there was a lot of like bullshit surrounding them, where essentially like a lot of people were accusing them of being a man fighting women. It was transphobes transvestigating her and stuff like that, which is really funny to me. These people spent several weeks, you know, transvestigating somebody.
Transphobes. I hate the word transphobes, actually. I don't know why I'm saying I don't like. I fucking hate it. It's such a vague, like, allusion to a nebulous group of people that supposedly hate trans people, and usually ends up including all kinds of people that don't hate trans people. They have certain concerns, such as potential biological males boxing against females, you know, which I shouldn't have to explain why that is a concern and why that's a problem. But a male is stronger than a female. If they're boxing, they're literally punching each other. And with Iman Khalif, I think the thing was, according to the IBA, she was sex tested and she came out with XY chromosomes, which I don't think actually confirms that she's male. Like if she had like Swires or something, I think it is. But yeah, so she's suing J.K. Rowling, I think. And J.K. Rowling's been quiet. So instead of shouting at J.K. Rowling normally, what trans Twitter has been doing is like counting the amount of days that J.K. Rowling hasn't been on Twitter, because I think secretly most of them miss her.
Somebody who was born a woman, who spent their entire life as a woman.
I'm pretty sure this hasn't been confirmed, but okay.
Who's competed in their entire career as a woman. And, you know, they're competing in the Olympics as a woman. So they've been a woman their whole life. So we're not talking.
If you like the stream and subscribe to me, you should do that, because I said so.
Talking about someone who's, you know, a trans person who transitioned to a woman and now they're a woman. Now, this is somebody who has always been a woman their whole life. So it's really funny when you watch, you know, these, you know, right wingers talk about, you know, asking people, you know,
J.K. Rowling is not a right-winger.
What is a woman and stuff like that, because by their own definitions, they can't even define what a woman is, because they spent like 3 weeks or whatever it was transvestigating somebody who was born a woman, which is really insane to say the least. But like I said, we're not going to get into the article here. But one thing I do want to get into is this. Apparently, after all of the backlash she faced, because there were people all over Twitter who were transvestigating her.
Has he spoken about her in any other way? I don't think he has. I had to skim through. Here we go, tipster. Ah, nice. He was a gaming YouTuber for about 2 weeks, and now he's doing this again. And it's just leftist goy slop, you know. Yeah, so he hasn't really, like, has he seen confirmation that this person's a female? I'm not sure about that. I haven't seen any. Holocaust revisionist J.K. Rowling, I don't know about that. But yeah, this is leftist goy slop, and he is apparently queer now. Got the flag, he, him, Lord of the Goth Mommies, which is a very cool thing to put in your description when you're in your 40s. Nothing weird about that. I should join his Discord. You should join my Discord. I'm gonna link it just quickly. I think Tipster would like me, even though he's blocked me on Twitter. So you should join mine instead, it's way better. Tipster's not in it for one thing. I think that improves most communities straight away. This is the tipster community now, by the way. Whatever's going on up here. Oh yeah, she kept being harassed by being a man, by TERFs who don't have a life, you know, those kind of people.
Basically saying, you know, that she's a man that's fighting against women and, you know, beating up women in the Olympics and it's unfair, and basically trying to invalidate her accomplishments just because they're too stupid to know what an actual woman is. So it was a really silly situation, to say the least, but she faced a ton of harassment on the internet as a result of this, and apparently she's taking action against it. As we see in this article here on the BBC, Rowling and Musk reportedly named in Khalif cyberbullying lawsuit chat.
How is this already on 1.25 and he sounds normal? I don't know. I'm getting used to the faster. I don't know. I can't abide like really slow talkers, I guess.
Oh shit! Oh shit! So she's naming J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk, who were some of the most vocal people.
The soundboard is back.
In regards to this situation, basically calling her a man when she's not a man to begin with. Like, it's pretty insane. This is something that actually came out, you know, I think it was last week this news came out, but I'm a little bit late to the party here. Prosecution, as French penal code law doesn't apply to acts committed.
Yeah, she's being sued. I want to see what else there is. I thought this would be boring, so I'm not spending much time on it. I thought J.K. Rowling went crazy over this stuff. I think lots of people did. I'm a kind of wait for confirmation sometimes because it's easier, you know.
And this is the part that I really, really want to chime in on. J.K. Rowling has deleted 27 tweets since being named in a lawsuit brought by the Olympic women's boxing gold medalist.
See what I mean? These people, like, they just obsess over her. She's not on fucking Twitter, so we're just obsessing over her. It's insane to me. Like, I've seen trans, like, they're still atting her constantly, because that's what they do. Like, that's how you cry bully on Twitter. You at J.K. Rowling constantly, and then cry bully when she responds and her idiot fans come running after you. But, like, yeah, like, they're just kind of, they're going on about how she's not tweeting constantly. I honestly think, like, the trans, like, Twitter types actually miss her. They probably feel empty of purpose right now because none of them are really doing anything for trans rights, whatever the fuck that is anymore.
Khalif, Rowling has also not tweeted in 13 days. Oh shit! Oh shit! Okay, if you know anything about J.K. Rowling, she goes on her transphobic tirades basically every day on Twitter. Okay, so for her to go missing for a period of 13 days on Twitter, that's a pretty big fucking deal, to say the least, okay? So she hasn't tweeted in 13 days, and actually this was yesterday, so we're going on 14 days now, and has deleted about 27 tweets. And sure enough, if you check her social blade, which I have done, you can see several tweets here getting deleted. It looks like she started deleting.
Was I talking on mute a whole bunch? Fuck me. Yeah, I don't know. J.K. Rowling's been silly. I think this obsessing over her, like, numbers and stuff is also pretty strange. Like, if she's off Twitter, like, shouldn't you be enjoying the piece rather than talking about how she's off Twitter constantly, you know? And, like, yeah, I don't know about what tweets she's deleted because I don't follow J.K. Rowling, you know? I don't really care about her. There's too many, like, trans people talking about J.K. Rowling, I guess. It's like the only reason I would is to, like, virtue signal and talk about something I disagree with her on to try and get a bit of woke support. But I don't want woke support, really, unless it's people that are sensible and can actually take a bit of disagreement, in which case I do want that kind of support. But hey.
Tweets 2 Sundays ago, and just since then she's proceeded to delete more tweets. So it's very clear that, you know, she's probably, you know, taking the advice of her attorneys, and her attorneys are probably telling her, shut the fuck up.
Very clear. I mean, I don't know. Could be that. Could be a lot of things.
Okay, you're making the situation worse for yourself. And she's trying to hide anything incriminating that could potentially cause her any legal trouble. I see Strodes in the chat saying she's coping. She do be indeed coping and seething.
She's coping and seething. There we go. Tipsters, Jesus. See, I find this, like, it's like the two sides of the idiot coin. You've got the idiot going after an athlete because they look a bit masculine, calling her a he the whole time when we don't really know what's going on. Because, like, even if the IBA is to be believed, which I'm open to, XY chromosomes doesn't make a man necessarily. Usually, vast majority of the time it does, but she could have some kind of DSD, and it could be one that makes her genetically female. But then, on the same time, now that something's actually happened about the kind of shit she's been saying, now everyone's like staring at a fucking social blade and like, oh my god, on that day she had minus 1,003 followers, guys. Oh my god, folks.
I mean, we obviously haven't seen it because she hasn't been active on Twitter, but I would like to imagine that she's probably sitting in her little cottage with all that black mold growing on the walls, coping and seething.
But you see what I mean? Like, obsessive. It's like really obsessive. There were people obsessing over like her profile pictures for a while. Like, there's criticism and then there's just kind of a-logging. And this guy is like 100% just sucking up to the transits because no one else gives a fuck about him. Like, so this is kind of its own grift. He's got like fuck all viewers now, so he's going for the bottom of the barrel. He's going for the people that will take almost anyone, and that's trans people, because we're easily manipulated and we're easy to grift at because we'll take it with open arms anyone that says pro-trans shit, you know. Except me. I'm a bit smarter than that.
Coping and seething.
Which, by the way, did you guys see that?
Just can't accept
Growling.
the truth is
So much black mold in her house.
He's still talking about it. His soundboard is really cringy.
No, that's the one. Oh, that's the one she posted to. Okay, here it is. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me open image.
I wonder how many of these people were like involved in the Keffels and Vorsch defenses as well. There's a few lolicons in here, I reckon.
In new tab. Let's see. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this, but here's the picture she posted. And if you look closely in the background, some people are saying that this, like, on the walls is like black mold. And are saying maybe this is why her
Could be, I guess. Like, why do you care? You know?
brain got fried and why she's like an insanely transphobic piece of shit now. Maybe this is why, because of all this black mold like rotting her brain. I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. I'm not really sure.
This is what I mean. It's like idiot wars. It's like you've got one pathological person who's so obsessed with like sex and trans and all that kind of stuff that she's viciously gone after someone who's now fighting back. And good on her, you know, fair enough. And then you've got people like this who will like sit and stare at like her fucking photos wondering if there's black mold in them, you know? Like, do you have nothing better to care about right now than fucking black mold in J.K. Rowling's house?
I'm not a doctor, but whatever. In any case, so it does look like she's deleting tweets, which is really funny to see. So somebody here, they responded to this tweet that's like a month old. Not really sure why they picked this tweet of all things. What does this tweet even say? Believing that people who disagree with you must want you dead is destructive for your own well-being and mental health. I not only want...
Yeah, see, this is cringe to me. Like, I looked up to you as a kid and now you'd rather see me die than live authentically as myself. Like, that's some guilt trip shit. That's like, you know, that's very manipulative. And I kind of agree with her on this, I gotta say.
I want you alive. I want you safe and happy. And this is a message from someone that she got...
We're essentializing is what we're doing here. Like, she has certain beliefs. Does that mean she wants this person to die rather than live authentically as yourself, which could mean literally anything? I don't know.
I guess I looked up to you as a kid, and now you'd rather see me die than live authentically as myself. Oh, so I'm imagining this is probably like a trans person that reached out to them and left this message.
That reached out. This is like just as much harassment as the shit that she does, but okay. It's not even her that really does the harassment, it's her weird followers.
Which I can imagine that would be pretty upsetting, right? Say you're somebody who happens to be trans and grew up as a fan.
Pretty upset. People turn out, like, here's the thing. If you were like my age and used to like emo bands in your teens, then you've got plenty of bands that now you're having to reckon with the fact that some of them were like groomers, you know? If you enjoy YouTube, you probably like at least one person who you feel like you can't really watch anymore because of their views. Like, I don't know, JonTron or something. Or someone who's like literally groomed people or done a whole bunch of dodgy shit. Like, there's no shortage of them out there, you know? Like, this is like weird parasocial, like guilt trip shit. Like, this person should probably speak to an actual professional about their issues and stop putting them on someone over Twitter, you know?
And of like Harry Potter and whatnot. And now you see the person who wrote these books that you love so much actually is a real piece of human garbage. Yeah, I can imagine that would be really fucking upsetting. But we have...
But yeah, he is like shilling. He is grifting hardcore. She is the leader of the TERF cult. I love how these people will call it the TERF cult and have absolutely zero self-awareness for the cult that they are in themselves.
This person, Charles Sunshine Sprickman here. I found these cool collection of tweets you deleted. Look at all those RTs. I wonder if
Wow, this guy definitely has an amazing life, you know.
each one equals a certain amount of damages in a lawsuit. Oh God.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Let's see, what are the tweets we have here? What is this? Christy Burrows, head of the Safe Sport unit at the IOC, speaks about Paris 2024 offering the most comprehensive package of mental health and safeguard initiatives than any other Olympic or sporting event in history. J.K. Rowling quote tweeted this and said, "A young female boxer has just had everything she's worked and trained for snatched away because you allowed a male to get in the ring with her. You're a disgrace. Your safeguarding is a joke, and Paris 24 will..."
Yeah, this is the whole jumping to conclusions thing. We don't know that this person is a male, so I don't know. Maybe she'll have a case for saying, oh, because the IBA said she had XY, that's my interpretation, free speech, etc. But I don't know how well that'll hold water. I mean, I seem to have a lot of people in my comments at the moment that seem to think that chromosomes equals sex, and that's not the case. There's a different one. Commentators pretending critics of the IOC's reliance on documents rather than sex testing think Khalif is a trans or straw manning. What? Oh, because some people were saying she was trans. Like, they're not straw manning, they're talking about a different argument. Because that's what I thought everyone was saying first. Can you talk about an influencer named The Error? Chad Logic did a video. I'll have a look. I don't know if I'll do it today. I did see the video. There wasn't a huge amount to it, so I don't know if it's something I might wait on and see what happens. I saw his video. And like, yeah, it's more Minecraft people transitioning that have potentially been doing slightly weird shit in Discord servers with kids. My Discord is 18 plus, just to warn you all now. If you're a kid and want to join, you can't. Tickle versus Giggle, I had a look at. I guess that's based on like precedents, you know, like previous rulings and stuff. So like the quote going round is something like, you know, in this case, sex is mutable. It seems to be based on previous legal precedents. I think I need to look a lot more into it than just the outcome, which is what I've seen. But I might go into it at some point. I don't know that I agree with the outcome. I think sex probably should be a protected characteristic, and if females need something that's away from trans women, then that should be their right, ultimately. But yeah, I'd need to look more into it, because I don't know that I agree with the ruling, but it depends what kind of precedent has been set previously, I guess. But yeah, I've had a little look into both of those. Yeah, definitely with Ara, I think I'd want to see a bit more meat on the bone, as Chad Logic might say. He wants his meat and potatoes. All he's had is salad.
Sport says F. Commentators pretending critics of the IOC's reliance on documents rather than...
See, I was under the impression that the reliance on documents thing was at least partly because the IOC doesn't really do like testing, if that makes sense. Like they rely on the sports to do it for them. And so it seems like a huge kind of oversight that boxing was like the one where there wasn't a body to test them, so they had to do it themselves. So like, yeah, someone could have slipped through. I'm not saying that J.K. Rowling is definitely wrong, so I don't know, but she's saying that this person's definitely male, which we don't know that. And yeah, allowing individuals with XY chromosomes, that really depends. Male levels of T, that's not even been, Maya Forstater is like wrong there. The levels of T were never measured, as far as I know. That was a bit of misinformation. They said that she came out with XY chromosomes, which doesn't mean... And like, if she is male, you know, I guess it makes sense. Like intersex people, if she's got a DSD, are the most likely to be missexed at birth, I would have thought. But yeah, like Maya Forstater actually sharing misinfo there. Oof, not good.
Than sex testing, think Khalif is trans, are strawmanning. I don't claim Khalif is trans. My objection...
I'll be honest, Maya Forstater, I think she's another one that like crosses the boundary from cynical or skeptical into like a bit pathological. She seems a bit strange to me.
And that of many others is to male violence against women becoming an Olympic sport. Wait, what is this?
That is the problem. No transparency on the testing. It leaves room for speculation. Yeah. because I thought, what was it? Iman Khalif appealed her decision, from what I remember. Oh, hi, Sam. Yeah, she appealed it, but then dropped the appeal, because I think that would have made the stuff public. And I mean, people are saying that's suspicious. I don't know if too many people would want their, like, medical records, like, just out there, you know? Because I think it might have become public if that had, like, gone to court or whatever. Normally it's an edge case, but in the context of women's sports, men with DSDs will naturally rise to the top. Yeah, but it depends. We don't know that Iman Khalif is male, from what I know. We know that if the IBA are to be believed, she has XY chromosomes, which doesn't make her a male automatically. If we were going just on the chromosomes, it would mean that overwhelmingly likely she is a male, but we don't actually know. And looking at her, she doesn't look like a typical male, at least not to me. I watched one video, I am going to play again in a sec. I watched one video where some guy was like zooming in on her face, being like, look at this 5 o'clock shadow, as calling her a trans woman. And it's like, there was none there to be seen. I suspect she's pretty blatantly a man. I'm leaning the other way, but ultimately we need to see what's happening. My issue with J.K. Rowling is just jumping in with this with both feet without knowing any better, you know? Because she doesn't know either. Like, we're taking this kind of information, you know? Conspicuous absence of evidence. Yeah, I don't know. I see the argument for, like, why would I have to prove my sex to the world, but I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Like, my problem isn't with people thinking that a man is male. My problem is with people like this who just run out shouting it every fucking 10 seconds, thinking that nothing's gonna happen, and now she's being sued. It's like, well, you know, if you're gonna be, like, pathological over this shit, then that's what's gonna happen.
Tweet even mean? I don't understand.
What does this tweet even mean? It means she's not calling Khalif trans, she's calling her male.
Dan, you're not saying, I don't claim Khalif is trans. So what's the issue then? You're claiming you don't want men. When they say men, they're referring to trans women. You're saying you don't want...
No, oh my god, Tipster is so fucking thick.
...men to compete in women's sports, but then you're saying you don't think she's trans? That doesn't even make sense. Maybe...
It makes sense if you read it correctly.
The black mold theory is true, because what she's saying here doesn't even make any damn sense. I'm so confused. The idea that those objecting to...
I'm not surprised Tipster is confused. Trans. Yeah, she makes it more clear in this one. Maybe he'll connect 2 and 2 and make 4. Leaning towards female. Yeah, I think I am as well. But yeah. Maybe we'll find out one day, and and the world can stop screaming at each other over it. I think that would be nice.
To a male punching a female in the name of a sport are objecting because they believe Khalif to be trans is a joke. We object because we saw a male punching a female.
Depends how you define trans.
It's not...
Shut up, Tipster. Depends how you define trans. I define trans pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm quite specific. So if I was calling a man Khalif trans, I would be saying she was born a male and has become a female in terms of what you can do through transition. So she might have had, like, HRT for so long and then surgeries, etc. Whereas having a DSD isn't trans, in my opinion. It comes under the transgender umbrella, but I don't believe in the transgender umbrella. I think it's bullshit.
She's not a male. Man Khalif should sue every single account and outlet saying she is trans. Assholes are putting her life at risk. It is illegal. And
yeah, so she's contending that people think she thinks she's trans when that's not the case. Which, I don't know. I guess people needed to read more. I don't know. I was going to say, like, I can see why people would think based on how pathological she is, but I think people should still actually read what fucking things say, you know? Because I get enough problems, like, in my comment sections, just with people that clearly weren't listening or clearly have got the wrong mentality going into watching something.
In her country to be trans. That's the funniest thing about it too, right? That's the weirdest thing about this whole situation, is the fact that it's illegal in her country to trans...
God, how did he make this video 21 hours ago and he's this far behind the curve? This was the kind of shit I was saying when it first happened, and it took me a moment to realize the actual thing that J.K. Rowling is saying, which is not that she's trans.
Position to be trans.
But then you can't also blame these people because some people were saying she's trans. I've got a video on my channel about Iman Khalif, and the first one I watched was literally look at her face, look at the 5 o'clock shadow, which I weren't fucking seeing, but sure.
And they're still like theorizing that she's trans. They're transvestigating her, even though it would be illegal for her to transition in her country if that were true.
So he's just ignoring what she's saying and then saying that people are transvestigating. Oh my god, he's so stupid. And the worst thing is, like I said, trans people are easily manipulated. So these people are just gonna like take everything he said and agree with it. So hey. But then, like I said, this is practically the fucking lolicon fucking hangers-on that weren't put off by him defending Vorsh and Keffels, so.
Insanity. Utter fucking insanity. But yeah, the Iman Khalif should sue every single account outlet saying she's trans. Assholes are putting her life at risk. It is legal in her country.
It's illegal to transition in Iran. It doesn't stop people. Yeah, I can imagine. It's not out of the question that a trans person would show up somewhere in Algeria. I don't think having a DSD means you're trans. I agree with that. If she went through a male puberty and she is trans, I think. See, to me, it's if you went through a male puberty or were just born male, like if you go on puberty blockers as a male and then end up on HRT and stuff, you're still a trans woman. You were born male. Because like to me, a trans woman necessarily was born male. In Muslim countries, it tend to be illegal to be gay and also to be trans. Yeah, I've heard about that. I need to look more into it, that people end up transitioning to avoid homophobia. I can't remember where it is that that you tend to get a lot of that. There was no facial hair, it was ridiculous. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
Want you to be trans. The continuance of the blatant trans lie continues unfettered on Twitter, and it's true. It was everywhere. It was literally everywhere. If you went
the theories were everywhere. I don't know that Iran. Okay, fair enough. I'd listened to quite a few like female like musicians who are like based in America but come from Iran. There seems to be quite a lot of creative people there that, you know, if they had a different system, maybe things would be maybe it'd be like a cultural like juggernaut or something, but I don't know. There seems to be a lot of talented people from there anyway. Yeah, it's not just the blatant trans lie, it's the shit that she's actually saying, but he's just like, nah, I'm just going to read what I want to read into it because he's stupid. Transphobes being dumb yet again.
on Twitter, even for a few minutes at the time, like it was all over the place. You couldn't avoid it. I remember seeing this tweet from her. Could any picture sum up our new...
Wait, what the fuck is up with his chat? Oh, there's a tweet underneath. Ah, fair enough. I'm not gonna give him too much shit for that because you can't really always help that.
men's right movement better? The smirk of a male who knows he's protected by a misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head and whose life's ambition he's just shattered. Paris 2024.
See, like, the forehead is kind of large, but that's about it. Like, the hairline is and like, the eyebrows, I guess you can pluck, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it. She's like 5'10". She's my height. You get women that are 5'10" and taller. I had a gig, and it was all, like, really young people, because it was, like, the other two bands were, like, in college or something, so it was, like, 16-year-olds and stuff. And, like, almost everyone was, like, my height. It was crazy. Like, people are getting taller, so there's also that. She is much younger than I am. I think she's, like, a good 10 years younger than me or something.
Can you imagine what it must feel like to be Iman Khalif and like
learn Spanish with Real Spanish TV.
No veo nada, no veo nada.
Click on.
Here we go. It's my act of charity for the day is giving Tipster a bit of ad revenue. Maybe he'll be able to afford lunch today. There we go.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are these people continuing to call me a man when I'm a woman and I've always been a woman?
I've been calling her a man, but that's, I don't know. It could be a main, I'm not sure. I've met people called Iman before, but it's usually without the E on the end.
Be the most bizarre feeling in the world, right? To have so many people calling you a man or saying that you're trans when that's not the case. And it's never been the case. Utter insanity. So she's going around and she's deleting all these tweets because she realizes that these tweets can get her in a lot of trouble. Like a lot of trouble legally. So
let's just go to the next one.
Lies have serious consequences.
I'm not actually super invested in what Tipster thinks on this. Media outlets might relish the surge of clicks, distorting biological realities. However, these lies have serious consequences. Might get someone killed. So, like, that kind of shows a bit more of the actual concern, that being that a man can hit harder than a woman. That's just how it is. Is the pun on Iman intentional? No, I just think that, well, I don't know. I've met a couple of other people called Iman, and it's spelt without an E. I don't know. I'm just guessing that's what her name is. I don't generally expect to meet any of the people I cover, so if I get someone's name wrong, it's not the end of the world, you know? But yeah, like the concern being like a male can just hit a lot harder than a female. There's the, what's the word? The potential for serious injury because it's a contact sport. So yeah, I can empathize with the concern. Like, my problem with J.K. Rowling is jumping in with both feet onto this theory that has never been proven and that she now seems to be seeing some consequences for, which I don't feel bad for her because she made her decisions as a person in her 50s or whatever, you know, whatever she's doing. I don't know. This is why you don't get, like, pathological about this shit. J.K. Rowling is pathological about trans people. This guy is now pathological about TERFs because these people hate TERFs and he just cares what these people think so we can repeat it and be like a million years behind the curve on everyone because he's only just talking about this now, apparently.
It is not an exaggeration.
Oh, thank you, Serena. I hope that's genuine. I'm choosing to believe it is.
To fear that such distortions may soon get someone killed. You're talking about a woman competing with other women.
He doesn't understand what this is. May soon get someone killed. Like, obviously it's talking about someone else getting let in down the line, because Iman Khalif didn't kill or really injure anyone. But JK isn't referencing transgender people here. Well, no, but the fact that she's so kinda pathological about it seems to have kinda branched out into certain other things, if that makes sense. And to be clear, like, I do think that she cares about, like, women's rights. But again, there's a difference between caring about women's rights and, like, calling someone a male without really any evidence. Well, not no evidence, but not sufficient evidence to actually confirm it. Which means that she's liable for this kind of thing to happen, you know? Because, like, the point here, I get if, like, they do end up, like, letting more and more people in because the standards aren't very high, that are potentially, like, males with DSDs or even trans people, you know? Like, that would potentially be bad. I agree with that, but J.K. Rowling just took it, like, she took it and ran with it, you know? She went way overboard, way more than necessary.
You're getting outraged about the fact that a woman is competing with other women because you're so brain dead.
And then he's calling someone brain dead whilst not understanding her point, which is that in time, if the rules are lax or whatever about this kind of thing, someone might get seriously injured or killed because men can hit harder than women. And someone who's a male is gonna, given the evidence, I'd be incredibly surprised if a man is not male. Yeah, I'm leaning the other way currently. What I'm thinking, like, the IBA, you have to, it depends first off if you believe the IBA, which I'm open to. I don't know at the moment. They found she was XY, which doesn't actually mean that she's male necessarily. I don't know. There's no, like, beard shadow or, like, stubble or anything, which is, I would have thought, like, I don't know. Can you go through male puberty with certain DSDs and not get any facial hair? I'm not sure. Like, the other thing is it's possible, like, the country is trying to do something, but we don't really have evidence for that, I guess. I'm not sure. Like, it's ultimately not confirmed, and that's why I'm being a bit more careful, but personally, I lean towards female. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, you know, that's fair enough. That person is male is not libel, and saying it once is not cyberbullying or harassment or whatever. To be fair, she said it a lot of times. I don't think she's at much risk for the lawsuit. Well, maybe. We'll have to see. I mean, the UK is kind of cracking down on, like, stuff people are saying on Twitter. It wouldn't surprise me if some other countries decided to do so as well, because there's a lot of, like, crazy shit on social media. Alaska, hi, can you put the videos you're reacting to in the description? Sure, just give me a sec. I'll do them as I go, because It should be updated now. Yeah, J.K. Rowling went over this like a lot. It seems like a disagreement about fact. Yeah, I mean, ultimately most people's arguments boil down to whether they believe the IBA or not, but what the IBA has presented doesn't actually confirm that she's male, as far as I can tell, because XY chromosomes doesn't equal male. It, by itself, suggests that she's almost definitely male. But we don't know for sure, you know? And like I said, my problem with J.K. Rowling is jumping in with both feet on that and male. It's a bit... If a man's male, is J.K. Rowling's position not reasonable? Potentially. Oh, hi, Safer by Sound. Living in Edinburgh, I knew she was a fabulist. Humble back. She's a snob punching down and gets this validation. I'm not sure. I do understand her concern. I don't think she doesn't have the concerns that she has. I think she's gotten very pathological and tends to come out with some crazy shit about stuff that she doesn't have the facts on necessarily. Yeah, J.K. Rowling could be reasonable if this person's male, because they might have known they were male and continued to compete with women anyway, which should have had to have, because I've seen, like, she had a test in Istanbul in 2022. She had a test in, I think it was India in 2023. So, like, presumably she would know if she's technically a male. I guess she could be living in kind of denial if that's the case, but this is a lot of speculation, you know. So yeah, potentially it is reasonable, but she's gone very hard at it, so she's risking a lot, you know.
You're speculating on whether she's actually a woman. So in regards to my thoughts on this lawsuit, to wrap up this segment, I hope she gets sued to hell and back, because this is one of those things where, like, do people...
Or indeed Algeria. Yeah, I mean, hey, one of my takes about trans sports is we don't know for a fact that some unscrupulous country couldn't field a bunch of trans people to try and, like, turn the dial in their direction or something. Like, obviously that's conspiratorial, but it's a possibility, you know? And I think a lot of this deconstructing, like, sex and, like, deconstructing certain things which probably should be, like, female only is not the best idea. This is not far off what the DDR notoriously did in the Olympics. What's the DDR? I remember there was it the Russians or the Spanish that, like, cheated in the Paralympics by putting people in that weren't disabled? I can't remember. I watched a thing about it once. It's all because of dodgy tests by abandoned discretion. Yeah, exactly. So most people's take on it seems to depend on whether they believe the IPA or not.
People have the freedom of speech to say what they want, including saying really dumb shit.
Algeria doesn't recognize legal gender. Do you really think a country that doesn't recognize trans people would send in a trans person to the Olympics? I don't think they would, but I don't know that any country wouldn't try and, you know, fuck around in that way. It's not likely. It's not the most obvious, like, solution. And I definitely don't think that Iman is trans. Like, it's almost definitely that she isn't. It's either a DSD or I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if the country of Algeria really makes sense here, unless it's more they knew she had a DSD or something. They would send a woman with testosterone because she would... Yeah, I mean, her testosterone wasn't even measured. There was a Maya Forstater tweet earlier, which was literally misinformation. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I do think that a country could potentially do that, but I don't know how likely that is. You know, that's a fairly minor concern when you think about how crazy that is. Doped up the female athletes on testosterone. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, sure. To some degree they do. Now, granted, you know, J.K. Rowling doesn't live in the U.S. There are different laws where she lives, so she's a little bit ballsy to be saying some of the things that she's saying. But having said that...
It's a little bit ballsy. I don't care. Tipster's a moron. Yeah, you've got the pathologicals on one side, and you've got the pathologicals. Tipster is audience on the other. How nice. But yeah, I don't know. We don't know for sure. I think she jumped in way too hard on the anti-Iman thing, and we'll have to see. Maybe it'll get confirmed that she's male, you know. I'm talking more in terms of legitimations and passports. Yeah, it's not a likely thing to happen, especially not from a country like Algeria, and she's not trans, so that isn't really the conversation, but at the same time, I don't know. Casta Semenya, yeah, they have different They have different, what's the word? They don't scrutinize it as much. I think the IOC, I think, is quite, what's the word? I don't know. They're a lot more inclusive than the IBA, for example. But yeah, Castor is technically male and has like internal testes, from what I remember, which is another thing that potentially Iman could have. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, she might be confirmed to be a male, and then the IOC would just keep the results anyway. So hey, there is a potential that J.K. Rowling is right in this, and if I'm wrong, I think she's probably female. If I'm wrong, then that's fine. You know, I don't know one way or the other. I don't know fuck all about boxing. You know, but yeah, I don't know. That's about it for that one, I reckon.